Did I scare you? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my October TBR. I am so excited. As you can tell, I look very different from my typical videos, but October is one of my favorite months. Halloween is one of my favorite seasons, times of year, and I am really excited to be on YouTube for the first time for October. And I feel like I always watch so many spooky readathons and hear about so many good spooky reads that I'm just really excited to be participating this year. So I have a very intimidating stack of books for my October TBR next to me, and I'm gonna go through them all with you guys. I did buy quite a few books in preparation for October. I am currently filming a vlog for my last reading week of September, and I mentioned how I was super excited, so I had to go and buy some creepier books for the month of October. So for the month of October, you guys can expect me here at least 2 times a week in this or a similar crazy getup. I'm going to be trying to push out as much content as I can for the month of October, and I am so excited. If you haven't already seen, it is already posted by the time this video is live, so I will have it linked down below. But I did have my first Spooky Saturday weekend, and I covered the case of H.H. Holmes. So if you would like to support me in that aspect of my channel, I really do love true crime. It's something that I've always read about and something I've always loved learning about, so I will have that linked down below as well. So with that being said, we're gonna get started with the books that I already had on my shelf for my TBR. So the first book that I pulled off my shelf is one that I recently unboxed in either a fairy loot or an owl crate, and that is going to be Hoarded by Katrina Leno. And this just really, I think it was an owl crate, I think it really fits the Halloween season spooky vibes. Essentially in the story, we are following a mother-daughter duo who heads back to the mother's childhood home, and things just start going really awry, especially when the daughter finds a locked door that is completely decorated for a child, and it looks like it might be inhabited as well. So definitely sounds a little spooky, a little off, and definitely something that I would be interested in reading for the month of October. The next book is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I am so excited about this. Emma Books, I heard talk so highly of this, and I really think it's going to be fun. It is an adult literary thriller, I believe. And essentially in this story, we are following 2 people who are in a pretty new relationship, and they take a trip, I believe, to visit the boyfriend's parents. And it's from the girlfriend's perspective, and I am guessing just along the way, she starts thinking over their relationship and is thinking of ending things. And I'm assuming something happens on that road trip that just doesn't bode well for her. So I'm really excited. It does seem like a pretty short read, and I've never read literary thrillers, so I don't know. I'm kind of excited. And once again, I heard so many good things about it, and it is adapted already, or is being adapted into a Netflix adaptation. Alright, so the next book is Vicious by Ve Schwab. I don't know too much about this, but I did read The Darker Shades of Magic, the first 2 books, earlier this year, I believe, and one of my real life book friends said that this was her favorite Ve Schwab book, and she thinks that I would really like it. So I picked it up a couple months back, and I never got around to it. I did see it on a list of seasonal spooky books, so I figured it was on my shelf, might as well, no time like the present, read it, you know? The next book is one I am so excited to get into this month, and it is going to be Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This came out, I believe, last November, and it is Leigh Bardugo's first adult fiction work. And essentially in it, we are following Alex, who is an Ivy League student at Yale, I believe, and she is getting introduced to the Ivy League scene and finds out that there is a 9th secret house to the like secret societies. So it says that there is power, privilege, dark magic, murder, there are occult-like activities, paranoid imagination. It just sounds really interesting, and I am not one for really spooky books. I do like scary movies, but I'm never really one for like scary books. I haven't read that many, but I do like the more realistic scary. Anyways, ninth house, Libba Dugo. I'm really excited to hopefully get to it this month. Next one is one that I know I will knock off of my TBR and I'm so excited about. It is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I'm really excited about this. Essentially, we are following a girl named Noemi, and she is just living her life, and after her newlywed cousin reaches out sending a pretty alarming and disturbing message, Noemi has to go and try and save her cousin from her newlywed husband. So it sounds really interesting. I told myself at the beginning of the year that I wanted to read more Latinx books just because I am Latina. I don't look like it right now, but I always just find it to be the most relatable form of culture, especially when I'm reading about like childhood. It always really resonates. So that's that. We're gonna continue on with the rest. The next book is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell, and when I hauled this in a book haul a couple months ago, I mentioned how it really gave me the Sorcerer's Apprentice vibes, and ever since then I've been dying to get my hands on it and read it. Essentially, we are dealing with a world in which when you travel into Manhattan, you kind of get trapped and you can't leave. So there are like banned sorts of magic, and it just sounds really interesting. So the tagline is "Stop the magician, steal the book, and save the future." So I definitely think that this will be a fun, kind of more whimsical story, but I'm really excited. The next book is Emily A. Duncan's Wicked Saints. I do believe that the story has vampires in it. Please let me know if I'm mistaken. I don't know too much about it, but I could have sworn that this was a vampire story. If not, I think I might be switching this out for one that is. I know Crave is a vampire story, just because I feel like Halloween is not complete without some sort of vampire story. So if you guys have read Wicked Saints, I don't want to dig too much online because I feel like when I do start digging for synopsises, I end up seeing things that ruin the book for me, and I don't want that. But if you guys have read it, please leave a comment down below if it does have those elements, and if not, what is one of your favorites that do, because I would love to get into it. And the last two books are probably ones that I'm most excited for and are also kind of like my most spooky. The first being The Turnip Key by Ruth Ware. This is an adult horror thriller novel, and essentially in it we are following a babysitter, I believe, of some sorts, or a nanny, and she is watching these children, and I believe one of them dies or gets injured or something happens and she gets framed for it. I could be completely wrong, but I don't really like to know too much when it comes to horror or thrillers. I feel like it takes away from the suspense, so I'm okay not knowing if I'm wrong, but I am excited because I've heard really great things about it. And I own this book because it was $3 on a sale table at a bookstore a couple months ago, and I was like, it's calling to me. I feel like I have to buy it. And the final book is one I literally, every time I see it on my shelf, I'm like, I should pick it up. It looks so beautiful and bright and fun. Not fun, but Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I'm so excited. See, I have such high expectations and anticipations for this month. I know I'm probably not going to get through all of these books, maybe not even half of them, but if I could get to some of these, I'd be so excited. And Dark Matter is one I think I'm going to pick up first. I've heard it really messes you up. It's a definite mind bender, but essentially in this book we are following a man who either gets in an accident or gets taken hostage or kidnapped, and when he comes to and wakes up, he is in a hospital where his wife is not his wife, his son is not his son, and his best friend is not his best friend. So he is kind of like in a parallel alternate reality of some sorts and is just trying to find his way to get back to his real family. I mentioned this in book haul. I hauled it in a couple months ago. This reminds me of something straight out of Black Mirror. It's one of my favorite TV shows. It's why I was drawn to pick it up. I'm so excited. I definitely feel like it's gonna be my type of, I feel like it's like a psychological thriller. That's how I'd kind of classify what I know about dark matter so far. But I'm very excited, and I've heard that Blake Crouch's writing is amazing. So this is definitely one I am anticipating. All right, guys, we are down to the final 5. These are all books that I ordered specifically for the month. So obviously I kind of am hoping to get to them first. I only have 4 in person because the 5th is not supposed to deliver until like after the first week of October, and I wanted to get this video up as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go over the physical ones first, and then I'll just put up a picture of the 5th book that is still in the mail. So the first book is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. If you guys know me and know this channel, I absolutely love Holly Black and her writing style. Also ignoring the past few videos if I have been saying that I'm so excited for How the King of Elfham Learned to Hate Stories coming out this month. If you do Google it, it says it's coming out October 13th. It's not. It's coming out November 24th. I was wrong. I am deeply hurt about it because it was something I was looking so forward to. I was like, only a couple more days, but it's not. It's not coming when I thought it was. So very disappointed about that, but I have this to hold me over. So essentially, The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, we are following a girl who goes to a party and something goes awry, and she is left with her ex-boyfriend and a mysterious young boy, and both of them are injured, and the only way to get them healed is to get to the nearest cold town, where once you enter, you are stuck. So as we can see, that's a running theme with some of the books I've chosen. I really like this trope aspect, whatever you want to call it, and I'm very excited to read some of more of Holly Black's work. I do believe this is middle grade. I might be mistaken, but I think it is middle grade, so I'm very, very excited about this. And middle grade, reading more middle grade was one of my reading goals for the year. So it also ties into the next book we have, which is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. Same person as Ve Schwab, but she just goes by Victoria Schwab as her younger grade writing. And City of Ghosts, we are following a young girl who can see the dead, and I think that is so cool. Her best friend is a ghost. Like, it just sounds really cool. And I do know that, I believe this takes place in Scotland, and I believe G from Book Roast did a video talking about the different, like, not historical, but like the different locations in Edinburgh, I believe. And she like goes to them. So I think that'll be really fun to read this book and then watch it along. And this seems like a really, really short book. I definitely should be able to finish it this month, and I believe this is middle grade too. The next book is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I might have pronounced that wrong. This book is heavy and long and thick, and the pages are filled with text, like top to bottom. Very reminiscent of how Sarah J. Maas packed Kingdom Bash, but essentially in this was on a lot of people's TBRs I was seeing too, but in Night Film, we are following the recent suicide of a young girl whose father is a world-known horror film director, and an investigative journalist takes it into his own hands to investigate the young daughter's suicide to see if it was something more than what it is, because that's what it's looking to be. So this definitely sounds super interesting. I did buy it specifically for October, but honestly, like, when I tell you guys, it is like, I don't want to spoil anything if there's something specific on this page, but like, it's like a near 600-page book, and it's pretty full. So I don't know if this one's gonna work out. I'm kind of disappointed about it, but we'll see. I just didn't realize how like this is a weight, and I'm kind of getting intimidated, so we'll see if this ends up being one of them. If not, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I'll still have it to read eventually, but I do want to read more, not such high fantasy. Like, I want to get into other avenues of book reading, so hopefully this will be one of them. And the final physical book I have, and then we're going to get into the one that's still in the mail, is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is another really interesting book. I believe Read by Zoe was the one I found out about this book from, and it was in her reading spooky books in a cabin for a week. Sounds so interesting. I would love to do that if I live near the mountains, but maybe it'll have to be a video someday. But essentially in this, it is like it's adult thriller again, and we are set in like a spooky apartment building, and it just seems like everything's scary and going wrong in this apartment building. So the like little tagline says, "No visitors, no night spent away from the apartment, no disturbing the other residents, all of whom are rich or famous or both." So seems very interesting, and I'm very excited. Oh my gosh, I always like seeing like praise like on the back of books, and I like to see which of like my favorite authors have written praise for the book and see what they say. And R.L. Stine wrote something about it. My favorite thriller of the year. Interesting. I'll have to take his word for it, so definitely want to get to this one this month. So those were all the books I have on hand. We're going to get into the final one that is still in the mail, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I am so excited for this to come in the mail. I definitely want to finish it this month. It's like one of the must-haves because it has been sitting on my TBR shelf for a whole year, and I just couldn't bring myself to purchase it. One, because for a young adult hardcover, it's surprisingly expensive. It's like $28. But I bit the bullet and bought it for this video and TBR in specific. But essentially in it we are set in 1920s New York City, and we are following a young girl who has hidden powers, but when a string of serial murders starts taking place in New York City, she has to start using her powers to see if she can find out who the killer is. So I've heard so many good things about this series. I think the next one is Until the Devil Breaks You. And I believe Libba Bray comes out with like a new one every October, like fall season-ish. So maybe there'll be another one this year that I won't be caught up for, but who knows. So that is everything on my TBR. It's very long and extensive, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through them all, but it is 14 books. I've read 14 books in a month before. Do I think it's going to be these 14? Not necessarily, but I am really excited. There are a couple other books that I know are coming in the mail for me, and I'm probably going to read at some point. I believe in one of the Fairy Loot or Owl Crate boxes we're getting a new Carrie Maniscalco release, which I have not read any of her books, like Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I should. I just covered H.H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper. If you watch the video, you'll hear some theories. But I really should read that one. And then I'm trying to think about any other ones that she has. I think she has like Dracula and maybe Frankenstein. But I haven't read any of her books. I did for a long time think that Carrie Maniscalco was related to Sebastian Maniscalco. I was not correct, but that was where my brain immediately went. So I believe I'm getting a book of hers in the mail at some point. I picked my book of the month pick, which is literary fiction. Not something I usually go for, but sounded so good. Very spooky as well. And then I believe The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, my pre-order, should be coming in this month. So there's that as well. So there are definitely other books that I'm gonna get this month that I'm probably gonna get sidetracked with. I'm not gonna beat myself up if I don't read every single book on this TBR. I would like to get to quite a few of them. I think it would just really put me in the Halloween mood, and I know that this Halloween is not gonna look like Halloween's previous, so I hope maybe some of these books gave you guys some inspiration or ideas on what you should read this month. Just try and keep your head up and get through the day and get through these trying times as goofily and as happily as we can. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this TBR. I hope you guys are looking forward to all of the content I have to come out in October. You guys getting to see my mug looking like this for a month, but yeah, this is my background. That's gonna be for all my videos. Nice crackling candle in the back. I didn't put that in my last video just because I was talking like pretty heavily and I didn't want the audio to be funky, but this video was a little bit more quiet, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more chill. I felt like it would be relaxing. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. I will try and have every single book I talked about linked down in the description, either to an Amazon link or a Goodreads, just so you guys can read better on the synopsis, because we all know I am not the best at giving them. And I think that's gonna be it for today's video. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope you guys are all having a great night, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.